On a scorching summer day, sunlight streamed through the windows, casting a golden glow on the floor. I sat on the sofa in the living room, unable to calm my restless mind. The peculiar neighbor upstairs, who claimed to be a magician, often left me puzzled. He would mutter incantations and emit eerie laughter in his apartment, leaving me shivering with a sense of unease. I had always been concerned about his behavior, with a nagging feeling that he might be lost in some sort of fantasy. He was always alone, engrossed in his peculiar tricks, seemingly indifferent to the outside world. I had attempted to communicate with him, but he always avoided me, as if living in a world disconnected from reality. Just as I was consumed by these doubts, the neighbor suddenly appeared before me. His eyes were deep and mysterious, radiating an unusual intensity. His voice was low and strange. "I'll be leaving for a few weeks. There are some important matters to attend to. I hope you can do me a favor." I couldn't help but pause, questions flooding my mind. He wanted my help. I nodded, though uncertainty gnawed at me. He handed me a key and gave me his apartment address, instructing me to collect his mail and take care of some chores. His departure brought a fleeting sense of calm, a temporary respite from his peculiar behavior. As he left, the apartment building seemed to return to its tranquility. Each day, I dutifully followed his instructions, entering his apartment to collect mail and water the plants. However, I had no inkling that this routine was about to lead to a pivotal turn in the story. One day, the postal service delivered a massive cardboard box for me to receive on his behalf. It took considerable effort to drag the box to my apartment. I placed it in the living room and collapsed onto the sofa, exhausted. Yet, my dog seemed unusually excited, sniffing around the box incessantly. I dismissed it, thinking the dog was simply curious about something new. However, 2 days later, a faint, putrid smell wafted into the air, filling the room. I frowned, sensing an ominous foreboding. With time, the stench grew stronger, becoming unbearable. I meticulously examined the box, desperately trying to pinpoint the source of the odor. When I finally mustered the courage to open it, my heart raced uncontrollably. I cautiously lifted the lid, and then I stared in shock, nearly collapsing. Inside the box lay a human corpse, already in an advanced state of decay, emitting a nauseating odor. I struggled not to retch, suppressing my disgust as I tried to maintain composure. The face of the body was distorted beyond recognition, hollow eye sockets seeming to convey endless fear. I could scarcely believe the scene before me, feeling as if trapped within a horrifying nightmare. I immediately reached for my phone and dialed the emergency number, a sickening feeling in my throat. The police arrived swiftly, plunging the apartment building into chaos. I found myself surrounded by a crowd of officers and neighbors, all questioning me about the neighbor. Despite dizziness and a racing heart, I recounted the grim discovery of the body as calmly as possible. Relatives of the neighbor arrived, their eyes filled with indescribable grief and shock at the sudden tragedy. The police initiated a thorough investigation, sealing off the scene and gathering evidence. Days later, a pivotal piece of evidence emerged, a crucial video recording. The footage showed the neighbor performing an abnormal magic act in his apartment, as if engaged in a perilous experiment. Anxiety etched across his face. He attempted to cast a complex spell, but the magic spiraled out of control. Dark shadows engulfed him in the video. His attempts had transformed into a terrible nightmare. He struggled desperately, attempting to break free from the constricting forces, yet he succumbed in the end, collapsing to the floor. This video served as key evidence, establishing that his death resulted from the failure of his magical experiment rather than foul play. I was thereby absolved of suspicion and regained my freedom. The community was left in profound shock and bewilderment, re-evaluating their pursuit of the unknown and supernatural forces. However, the true story was far more complex and enigmatic than I could have imagined. As the police continued to search the neighbor's apartment, they stumbled upon a hidden door behind an ordinary bookshelf. Beyond the door lay a stunning revelation, a room filled with bizarre magical paraphernalia, ancient symbols adorning the walls, exuding an air of mystique. The police meticulously examined the contents, discovering an ancient book of spells detailing a myriad of fantastical incantations and magic. Among them, a section on transference of life caught their attention. This magic purportedly enabled the transfer of life force from one person to another, achieving a state of eternal youth. Yet, more astonishingly, beneath that section lay a familiar name, my own. My heart raced uncontrollably, questions and fears flooding my mind. Could it be that the neighbor had attempted to prolong his life through this ancient magic? Was his death linked to this forbidden sorcery? I fell into contemplation, striving to unravel the truth behind it all. However, the truth held even more twists and turns than I could fathom. As the police delved deeper into their investigation, they uncovered further secrets about the neighbor. He had once been a renowned magician, possessing extraordinary magical talents. Yet, during a perilous magical experiment, he had lost control, teetering on the brink of death. However, he had not died. Instead, he employed the transference of life magic to transfer his life force into another person. His apparent demise had been a ruse, allowing him to continue his pursuit of arcane magical powers. And that person he had transferred his life force to was none other than me. I was stunned, struggling to comprehend the peculiar glint in the neighbor's eyes and his inexplicable incantations. It seemed he had been orchestrating events, attempting to guide me towards a particular direction. An overwhelming fear enveloped me. What was his ultimate goal? Why had he chosen me as a part of his plan? Conflict and unease churned within me, as I wrestled with the unfolding revelations. I began to investigate the concept of the transference of life, seeking to determine whether this forbidden magic was real and whether it could truly achieve the neighbor's sought-after immortality. After scouring numerous books and sources, I finally uncovered traces of this elusive magic. To enact the transference of life, a specific incantation and an exceedingly rare substance known as the Heart of Eternity were required. This Heart of Eternity was said to exist only in a particular time and place. I embarked on a quest to locate more information about this substance, determined to uncover its whereabouts. Yet, this endeavor was far from easy. I found myself venturing deep into a world of mystery and danger. I traversed ancient underground passages, explored enigmatic ruins, and came into contact with various arcane organizations, all in pursuit of clues regarding the heart of eternity. Amid these trials, I faced numerous perils, narrowly escaping death on several occasions. With each danger surmounted, I gained crucial insights, inching closer to the elusive truth. I discovered that this world was rife with magic and secrets, teeming with untold power and possibilities. By a stroke of luck, I eventually stumbled upon information about the heart of eternity, learning that it was concealed within an ancient temple. Determined, I set forth on a journey to the remote mountains, where the temple was said to be located, in search of this elusive substance. The temple lay nestled deep within the mountains, a labyrinth of mysteries and trials. I faced various challenges and hardships, but I pressed on, driven by a belief that uncovering the truth was paramount. Upon reaching the heart of the temple, I encountered a massive stone pedestal, atop which rested a mysterious container. I recognized it immediately. It was the legendary Heart of Eternity. However, my discovery was accompanied by a shocking revelation. Surrounding the pedestal were a series of intricate magical glyphs, emanating a powerful energy. I realized that the neighbor had intended to utilize this substance, employing the transference of life magic to transfer his life force into my body, achieving his coveted immortality. I found myself in a dire predicament, torn between difficult choices. Should I allow him to realize his goal, paying the price for his ambition? Or should I thwart him, preventing him from employing this forbidden magic and safeguarding my life and freedom? Caught in a maelstrom of conflicting emotions, I grappled with a difficult decision. The pursuit of power, the consequences of human desire, all weighed heavily on my mind. Deep in contemplation, I sought a resolution. However, just as I was lost in thought, an unforeseen event shattered the tranquility. The neighbor suddenly appeared at the entrance of the temple, his eyes wild with madness and longing. He laughed manically, a frenzied tone to his voice. "Finally, I've found you, my friend. Are you ready? I'm about to fulfill my dream of eternal youth." Quote. My gaze remained resolute as I faced him. I warned him that the magic he sought was forbidden, that the price of pursuing power was too great. His eyes grew increasingly fanatical, deaf to my plea. Consumed by his desires, he was beyond reasoning. As he attempted to activate the magical glyphs, I took decisive action. I unleashed the surrounding magic, creating a powerful surge of energy that drew his attention. Employing all I had learned, I endeavored to dismantle the magical glyphs, thwarting his plans. However, the situation spiraled into a complexity beyond my anticipation. The neighbor unleashed his own magic, revealing astonishing power. He retaliated, determined to halt my interference. A fierce magical battle ensued, energy erupting within the temple, causing chaos. Exerting my utmost effort, employing every technique I knew, I sought to obstruct his intentions. Yet, his power grew stronger with each passing moment, and I found myself faltering. In a moment of life and death, I made a final decision. Summoning my most advanced magic, I unleashed a torrent of energy, enveloping the temple. The neighbor's eyes widened in frenzied desperation as he fought against the surging power. But, ultimately, he was overwhelmed. A blinding light radiated from me, enveloping the temple in brilliance. The sheer intensity of the energy left me drained and weary, yet I persevered, unwilling to yield. In that moment, an invisible force seemed to draw the neighbor toward me, his form fading into the light. I felt an immense pressure, as if something were leaving my body. For an instant, I caught a glimpse of an ancient visage, a figure of profound mystery and power, before it vanished completely. As the light subsided, the temple returned to stillness. I lay on the ground, exhausted but triumphant. The neighbor had disappeared, his plans thwarted by my actions. Exerting great effort, I stood, gazing toward the distant sky, a mix of emotions welling within me. I understood that human desires and pursuits often led to unforeseen consequences. The neighbor's dreams had transformed into a nightmare, and through this crisis, I had undergone profound growth and contemplation. The story's conclusion bore dramatic twists, leaving me in awe. A self-proclaimed magician, an eccentric neighbor, a forbidden magical scheme, and a final showdown, all combined to create an unforgettable narrative. I learned to respect power, cherish life, and to forego the pursuit of illusory dreams. Following these events, I chose to disclose the entire story to the authorities, providing critical insights into the case. The neighbor's true identity and his manic plans were revealed. The community was left in shock and panic, re-evaluating their quests for power and desire. As for me, I gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy, carrying with me a mature and resolute heart as I continued on my journey. This unforgettable tale would forever remain etched in my memory, a precious experience that shaped the course of my life. But the story was far from over, for more secrets and dangers awaited, as I delved deeper into the forbidden world of magic, uncovering the truth while protecting myself from the enigmatic organization that pursued me. An adventure of magic, life, and death, filled with suspense and unexpected revelations, lay ahead, ready to be unraveled. In a world where magic and mystery intertwine, a tale of extraordinary proportions unfolds. It all began when I, a young and aspiring mage, discovered a hidden realm of powerful sorcery that threatened to plunge our world into darkness. As I embarked on a journey to confront this looming danger, little did I know that my path would be fraught with unexpected twists, enigmatic revelations, and the emergence of a new character who would alter the course of events. Amidst the quietude of our tranquil village, a mysterious neighbor moved in, bringing with him an aura of intrigue. His enigmatic presence piqued my curiosity, and I soon found myself drawn into a web of secrets that reached far beyond the confines of our simple lives. As I delved deeper, uncovering layers of forbidden knowledge, I stumbled upon a startling revelation. The neighbor's true identity was that of a master sorcerer who had once belonged to a clandestine organization known as the Shadow Order. The Shadow Order, an ancient and malevolent assembly, sought to harness the power of forbidden magic to reshape the world according to their sinister desires. Led by a malevolent sorcerer of unparalleled skill, their nefarious plans posed an imminent threat to the delicate balance between light and darkness. Little did I know that my path would soon intertwine with that of another, a formidable mage named Li Yun, who had been on a relentless quest to thwart the Shadow Order's ambitions. As fate would have it, Li Yun and I found ourselves facing a common enemy, forging an alliance born of necessity. Our partnership was an unconventional one, as our differences often gave rise to heated debates. Yet, amidst the clashes of perspective, a mutual respect and understanding began to blossom. Together, we uncovered fragments of a prophecy that spoke of an ancient artifact, the Eternal Heart. This legendary talisman was said to possess the power to either vanquish the Shadow Order or grant them unparalleled dominion. However, our path was not without its challenges. The leader of the Shadow Order, a being of unimaginable power, proved to be a cunning adversary. His mastery over magic exceeded anything we had encountered before. In the midst of a fierce confrontation, Li Yun and I found ourselves ensnared within a mysterious dimension, a realm of bewildering illusions and trials that tested our very resolve. Time and space warped within this dimension, shrouding everything in uncertainty. After relentless perseverance, Li Yun and I finally discerned a means of escape, returning to our reality only to discover a world profoundly altered. The influence of the Shadow Order had grown, its grip extending over key organizations and institutions as they sought to tighten their hold on the world. Simultaneously, the neighbor's father, a once elusive figure, emerged as a more cunning and perilous adversary. No longer content to lurk in the shadows, he brazenly executed his plans, aiming to realize his mad ambitions. The urgency of the situation became clear. I had to take action to thwart their machinations and save the world from impending doom. Determined to counter this threat, I resolved to seek out the fabled, Eternal Heart, the linchpin of the Shadow Orders and the neighbor's father's pursuits. I believed that only by destroying this artifact could their power be diminished and their plans undone. Amidst a perilous odyssey marked by unexpected allies and treacherous trials, I uncovered elusive clues about the Eternal Heart. It was concealed within a distant and enigmatic realm known as the Forbidden Sanctum. This place brimmed with dangers and challenges, accessible only to the most potent of sorcerers who could navigate its perils and locate the artifact. Undeterred, I embarked on this hazardous expedition to the Forbidden Sanctum, driven by a relentless determination. Along the way, I encountered enigmatic creatures and arcane puzzles, and I faced life-threatening ordeals, inching closer to my objective. Finally, I stood at the heart of the Forbidden Sanctum, confronted by a colossal gateway that harbored boundless unknowns and perils. Undaunted, I ventured forth into its depths, my resolve unshaken. Deep within the sanctum, I uncovered the true resting place of the Eternal Heart. It was ensconced atop an ancient altar, radiating a potent aura. Yet, I also sensed a malevolent presence emanating from the artifact, an inherent danger that hinted at unforeseen consequences should it be destroyed. Amidst my inner turmoil and hesitation, a voice shattered the silence. The neighbor's father had arrived. His gaze gleamed with sinister intent as he warned me that destroying the Eternal Heart would trigger catastrophic calamity, plunging the world into chaos and despair. I grappled with the truth of his words, torn between belief and skepticism. Could he be speaking the truth, or was this yet another ploy to thwart my mission? After a brief but intense internal struggle, I chose to trust my instincts and, with unwavering determination, reached out to touch the eternal heart. An immense surge of power coursed through me, a realization of newfound might that assured me I possessed the strength to confront the Shadow Order and the neighbor's father. However, at that critical juncture, an unforeseen twist of fate unfolded. The neighbor's father unleashed a torrent of magic, unleashing a formidable wave of energy. His eyes burned with madness and avarice, his once rational mind overtaken by unchecked ambition. Determined to seize the power of the eternal heart for himself, he sought to assimilate its energy into his being. My body writhed in agony, my life force slipping away as I struggled against the onslaught. Swift action was imperative, and I engaged in a fierce and spellbinding battle with the neighbor's father, using every ounce of magic I had acquired. His power was overwhelming, and it seemed as though victory was beyond reach. Yet, in a pivotal moment, I recalled the teachings of Li Yun, embracing a unique spell that allowed me to expel the neighbor's father's consciousness from the eternal heart. With clarity restored, the neighbor's father confronted the gravity of his misdeeds, consumed by remorse and guilt. Determined to make amends, he entrusted the eternal heart into my care and imparted knowledge of how it could be wielded for benevolent purposes. Through this unforeseen turn of events, I thwarted the Shadow Order's machinations, saving the world from imminent catastrophe. The neighbor's father chose a life of seclusion, dedicating his remaining days to rectifying his past transgressions. As for me, I vowed to safeguard the eternal heart, ensuring it would never again fall into the clutches of malevolence. The story's conclusion radiated with hope and rebirth. I had learned the virtues of persistence and courage, realizing that power was not the sole pursuit, kindness and responsibility were equally paramount. My journey to unravel the mysteries of magic continued, as I pledged to protect the world's peace and serenity. This extraordinary saga was replete with unforeseen twists, suspenseful climaxes, and ultimately became a cherished chapter in my life's narrative.